The late summer air in rural Tennessee hung heavy, thick with the scent of pine and dust, when the words cut through like a blade. "Sir, we've had reports of an excessive number of firearms stored on your property." They came from a man standing on my front porch, his polished shoes gleaming against the weathered wood. His name tag read Elliot Grayson, pinned to a navy polo shirt tucked in with military precision. He called himself the head of the Homeowners Association's Standards Committee. His tone was crisp, official, but it reeked of self-importance, like a small-town bureaucrat playing sheriff. Behind him, a younger Toby Walsh, according to his tag, shifted nervously, his eyes flicking to the rusted mailbox by my drive. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, letting the silence stretch. My gaze drifted past Grayson to the locked shed-out back. It wasn't the 3 shotguns or the pair of hunting rifles that made my chest tighten. It was the fourth of one tucked in a faded canvas case, its walnut stock worn smooth by time and memory. That rifle wasn't just steel and wood. It was a vow, forged in the chaos of Hellman Province. My buddy Caleb, a wiry kid from Missouri, had pressed it into my hands as we crouched in a ditch, his grin bright despite the blood on his face. "Keep her for me, Dan," he'd said. "She's my lucky charm." He was gone by dawn, and I'd carried his M1 Garand home, a piece of his soul entrusted to me. Now this clipboard warrior was talking about it like it was a zoning violation. Grayson cleared his throat, ready to recite more rules. I cut him off, my voice low but steady. "You're not the law, Elliot." His jaw twitched, the first crack in his smug facade. Toby glanced at his shoes, clearly wishing he were anywhere else. Grayson, though, puffed up like a rooster. "We represent the board, Mr. Harlan. We have authority here." I stepped forward, just enough to make the porch creak under my boots. "You've got a name tag and a bad haircut. I've faced men with real power, men with guns, not pens. You don't scare me." His eyes narrowed, pride wounded. This wasn't about bylaws anymore. It was a challenge, a line drawn in the dirt of my own front yard. They left soon after, Grayson's stiff walk betraying his anger, Toby scurrying behind. But I knew this wasn't over. That night, I couldn't sleep. Old instincts kicked in: clean your weapon, check your ammo, watch the horizon. By morning, I dug out my old binoculars and started a log. Grayson Elliott. Black SUV, Tennessee plates. The next evening, as the sky burned orange, his SUV crawled down my street, slower than necessary. Grayson's head swiveled, scanning my house like a predator. He did it again the next night. This was no petty power trip, it was obsession. I needed to know if I was his only target. I started with my neighbor, Jim Tate, a retired mechanic with a yard as tidy as a parade ground. "HOA clowns," he grunted, wiping grease off his hands. "Yeah, they hit me up last month. Said my flagpole was too prominent. Threatened to fine. I took it down for a bit, didn't want the hassle." His eyes darkened with regret. Next was Lila Monroe, a widow whose flower beds were the pride of the block. She froze when I mentioned the HOA. "They walked right into my backyard," she whispered. Took pictures, said it was about fence height. I felt like a criminal in my own home. Her voice trembled, and my blood boiled. Then I talked to Mike Ramsey, a former paratrooper with a young family. He leaned against his truck, fists clenched. "They came in my garage, Dan. Questioned my propane tanks, said they were a safety risk. My kids were watching. I got rid of the tanks to avoid trouble, but it felt like surrender. The pattern was clear. Grayson was a bully, preying on the quiet, the vulnerable, inventing violations to feed his ego. Then I found the pro-for-cut wire on my flagpole spotlight, a petty act of vandalism screaming, "We can touch you." This was war. I called Mike. "I need a favor. Dig up what you can on Elliot Grayson." An hour later, he had it. Grayson had flunked out of the State Police Academy 3 years back, deemed psychologically unfit. It all clicked: the tactical gear, the fake authority. He wasn't protecting the neighborhood. He was playing king. Then came the ultimatum, slipped under my door in a blank envelope. Final notice of noncompliance. Voluntary surrender of all firearms required within 48 hours. The words were meant to break me, to make me bend. Instead, they lit a fire. I called Sarah Conway, a no-nonsense attorney I'd met at a veterans event. She laughed after reading the letter. This is legal nonsense, Dan. They've got no power to seize anything. It's pure intimidation, banking on you not fighting back. She warned me to be careful. Men like Grayson don't take rejection well. This wasn't just my fight anymore. I went to Mike's garage and laid the letter on his workbench. His face hardened as he read it. What's the plan, Dan? I leaned in. We don't react. We wait. Grayson will come on the second day. His ego won't let him stay away. We need witnesses. Get Jim and Lila to record from their windows. No confrontation, just evidence. The moment he tries to force his way in, you call 911. Same men impersonating officers are trying to break into a veteran's home. Let him walk into the trap. The next 48 hours were tense, like waiting for an ambush. I saw Mike briefing Jim and Lila. The plan was set. The night before the deadline, I unlocked my shed and pulled out Caleb's rifle. In the moonlight, I cleaned it, the scent of gun oil grounding me. One last stand, Caleb, I whispered. Not for glory, but for what's right. I locked it away, calm and ready. At 7 a.m. on the second day, Grayson's SUV roared up. He stepped out with Toby and a new guy, a hulking figure carrying a plastic case. Grayson held a crowbar, his intent clear. I opened my door before they could knock, standing tall behind the screen. You're trespassing, Grayson. Leave. He smirked, stepping onto my porch. We're here to enforce the rules, mister. Harlan, hand over the weapons, or we'll take them. I didn't flinch. Try it. His hand tightened on the crowbar, poised to pry my door. That was the signal. Suddenly, porch lights flicked on Jim's, Lila's, then others. Phone cameras gleamed from windows. Grayson froze, his face twisting as he realized he was surrounded. What is this? He spat, voice cracking. I stepped forward, my shadow long in the morning sun. This house is defended by a Marine who earned a Silver Star in Helmand. I've faced real enemies, Grayson. You're just a man with a toy badge. His crowbar fell, clattering on the porch. Sirens wailed in the distance. Mike's call. A sheriff's cruiser pulled up, and Deputy Carter stepped out, his gaze sweeping the scene. Heard we've got some folks playing cop, he said, handcuffs already out. Grayson's bravado crumbled as the cuffs clicked shut. The neighbors stepped onto their lawns, phones still recording, standing taller than they had in months. The aftermath was swift. Grayson and his crew faced charges trespassing, impersonation, attempted theft. The HOA board collapsed in chaos, issuing apologies and dissolving their standards committee. But the real victory was on our street. Fear vanished. Kids played freely again. Lila's flowers seemed brighter, Jim's flag flew high, and Mike's garage stayed open late. Small gifts appeared on my porch up high from Lila, a bottle of bourbon from Jim. At a block party in my yard, laughter replaced silence. I wasn't just the old vet anymore. I was part of something bigger. As I sat on my porch that night, Caleb's rifle safe in its case, I thought about justice. It's not a gavel or a headline. It's neighbors choosing to stand together, a light flicking on, a promise kept. Grayson came for my guns, but he found a community that remembered how to fight. What would you have done in my shoes? Would you have handed over the rifle or drawn your own line? Should neighbors always band together, or is it every man for himself? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that make you think.